You ever feel like you're stuck? Like no matter what you seem to try, you can't manage to get yourself going again, and you can't manage to find that passion and rekindle it once more. I know I definitely have been there. And one of the ways that I've managed to find my footing again is through my hobbies. Now, when I mention hobbies, I'm talking about the activities that provide us with fulfillment. They don't necessarily have to be productive or provide us with any monetary gain, they just provide us with that fulfillment. When I say that, I mean anything from gaming to journaling to photography or reading and writing. And the reason why I'm talking about them is because I personally think we've undervalued hobbies and we seem to take them for granted. When I talk about hobbies, the reason why I think we shouldn't take them for granted and the reason why I think that they're amazing, every day we're very much focused on what we have to do to get through the day. And when we're not doing the productive tasks that we have to do, we are probably mindlessly scrolling or just consuming in our downtime. And when we're doing that, we think we're resting, but most of the time we're probably not. Now, what hobbies do, that they provide us with that space to disconnect and recharge ourselves instead of mindlessly wandering into an abyss of short form content. And I think hobbies are also great for us because they can provide us with that coping mechanism that perhaps social media seems to be for some people, but it's healthy. They're also a great outlet for your self-expression, and you can connect with like-minded people, which can do wonders for your self-confidence. When I say it's a healthy coping mechanism, I'm talking about an activity that gets you immersed and you disconnect from the rest of the world, but it's not negatively. You're just focused on what you're doing. Whatever it is, you're trying to do your best at it, and it provides you with comfort, but it also provides you with a healthy challenge, if that makes sense. And talking more about how they help your self-expression and your confidence, some hobbies do this more than others, particularly ones like reading, writing, or even photography or videography. You're trying to capture something in such a small lens or canvas. Honestly, they can both be interchangeable. Your lens is almost like your canvas. It also allows you to connect with like-minded people, some hobbies more than others. You'll get out there, you'll meet with people. Some of them might become lifelong connections. Not all of them will, maybe not most of them even, but you never know because you guys bond over the same thing. As long as it's a healthy environment, there shouldn't be any barriers to connect. It might be awkward at first, but it gets easier with time. As an example, I'll use running. If you decide to join a running group, that means every week at a set day and time, you're meeting up with specific people who wish to bond together over one specific hobby. Running. Now, one session after the other, you'll probably start a conversation, and from there it will build up into you finding out whether this person is worth connecting with or not. But at the end of the day, you're socializing, and that's something that's very important to us. Something that mindlessly scrolling and sitting at home doing nothing will definitely not nurture. And so even if you don't make lifelong connections, that bit of socializing can do wonders for your brain. And if you do make lifelong friends, then hey, you got a hobby to thank. Now, I'm by no means an expert or anything. I'm just speaking my thoughts here. So if anyone would like to correct me on anything or voice even their own thoughts, feel free to do that in the comments. Now, moving on, talking about it as a healthy coping mechanism, I mentioned that it provides you with a healthy way of disconnecting. And when I say disconnecting, I mean you get to come home after a long day and just immerse yourself in that one activity you enjoy. You don't have to worry about meeting any deadlines, meeting nothing like that. You just sit down and do that one activity that brings you peace. Now, obviously, not every hobby is a hobby by my definition, but as long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're not hurting yourself, and it's a harmless means of expressing yourself, it's a hobby. And so I think something like photography or a sport is a lot better for you than using certain things that are not good for you or consuming content that doesn't necessarily help your brain. And there's many forms of what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to get into any specifics. But that's the thing about hobbies. They provide you with that hit. Even just that hit of dopamine that you get from doing your hobbies is way better and way more organic than the hit you'll get from scrolling. And the reason I say that as well is because hobbies, you don't always get rewarded for them. You don't always get that good feeling. Some days you might find it a bit challenging to do a certain thing or take a certain photo. It might not always be smooth sailing, but once you get it down after that long grueling effort, you'll thank yourself for it. Another thing some people might say is that hobbies can be pretty expensive, but personally, I think the money spent on them is worth it as long as you have it and as long as you obviously pay for your necessities, as in the things you need to survive. But as long as that's taken care of, whatever money you really spend on a hobby is worth it because you're technically investing in yourself. You're investing in your mental health, your confidence, your connections. All of that can be changed by your hobbies. All of that can be positively impacted by your hobbies. So I think it is worth it to spend a lot of money on a hobby that brings you that fulfillment than it is to spend it mindlessly on some products that you might end up not even needing. You're just buying to make a statement for yourself or make yourself feel like you're richer than you are, you know? And I know that's a little harsh to say, but again, I'm not only addressing the people watching. This channel is sort of me speaking to myself in a way too. It's a reminder for myself before it is for anyone else. Because we all fall into this stuff. We all have our weaknesses. We all have our moments of weakness in general. And so it's important for me to clarify that so I don't sound like I'm holier than thou. Now, I want to talk about my own personal experience with hobbies because I'm sure you must be watching this thinking, hey, this guy seems to really like hobbies. What's that about? Now, no, I'm not directing a PR campaign for hobbies, nor am I a door-to-door salesman. I'm speaking as someone who actually underestimated the importance of hobbies growing up. I kind of took them for granted. It was only when I fell into that feeling of stagnation or being stuck that I found out, hey, hobbies were that thing that was keeping me grounded. It's like the saying goes, you never know the true value of something till it's gone. It took me a while after letting go of my hobbies, and obviously doing the things that I mentioned aren't great for us, like mindlessly scrolling and just consuming media like a drone, that I realized the hobbies are what kept me grounded and they're what kept me focused. They weren't the sole purpose and my sole motivation, but they definitely helped me after a long day to just sit down and disconnect from everything and reset. That is why today I'm really going all in on this topic, because I think it is so important for all of us to have that one hobby we are passionate about. It'll help us when we least expect it, and it could be our means of expressing our frustration when we're down. I remember growing up, I used to be a big reader, and I used to really enjoy reading novels like The Hunger Games, and it wasn't something that I really understood the value of at the time because I thought this was normal. I thought, hey, everyone reads, what's so special about it? But I didn't actually understand that everything we do has its own impact on us. Like everything has its own personal impact. Like for example, some of my favorite games, shout out Cyberpunk 2077, are my favorite because of the personal impact that they have. And I'm not saying this to be unique. This is pretty much the main reason all of us like games. It's just that most people seem to define their personal impact through technical terms, and I'm not always the best at doing that, so I like to limit it to personal impact. I recently realized the whole importance of hobbies when I started also delving into new ones. At the beginning of the 2020s, I started delving into video editing, and it was not easy at first. The programs are confusing, they're expensive, they're a whole objective on their own to learn. You could make it a hobby to teach people how to use Adobe Premiere or After Effects. And I'm far from experienced after, say, 4 to 5 years. I'm still learning a lot as the days pass. And recently, I even decided I want to get a camera. I want to get into recording, taking photos. I've been mostly doing it with my phone. Delving into new hobbies opened my eyes again, and it showed me the importance of them. As I reach the closing stages of what I want to say, I want to tell the people watching one main thing, and myself. We always tend to focus on being productive, or we tend to believe that showing passion in something that doesn't make us tons of money is stupid. The world is rapidly becoming materialistic and only focusing on things that bring it monetary value. It's focused more on how much it can pump out of you. It's focused more on how much money you can bring it, and not the sentimental value. So I want to say one main thing. I encourage everyone watching to find themselves something that they're very passionate about, like a hobby, and go all in. Start slow, but just start. I said this in my last video, but you gotta make the thing exist before you can worry about it being pretty, because how's it gonna be pretty without existing? You gotta build it slowly and then improve it. So my advice to you is don't listen to those people who tell you that being passionate about stuff that doesn't bring you the big bucks is stupid. You can prove them wrong later, and their opinion is not that relevant. What matters is how it makes you feel and how it improves your life. And you never know, might make you a great. It might bring you all of that material value that people want, but You should do it because you want to and because you're passionate, not because of the dollar signs. To end this video, I'd like to ask you guys a question. What's that one hobby that always helped you weather the stormy days? And when did you realize that it was the thing that always helped you focus on what's important? I'm keen to see how others' experiences compare to mine. And who knows, maybe I'll learn a thing or two. And with that, I'll see you guys soon.